A lot of people are not ready. You know, they're on a lower
not ready
vibration.
for that. They're not ready, my brother.
You know, it's hitting your pineal gland in a different way.
Man, decalcifying that mug.
Stay woke. You got to stay woke, my brother.
Okay, gentlemen, we had a album come out that everyone seems to have an opinion on, whether they know exactly what the genre or the specifics of said artistic expression are, and that is by our good friend from Atlanta, Andre Benjamin. Many of you know him as Andre 3000. He put out an album of instrumental flute music.
Yeah.
Some of it flute music, some of it some...
I call it soundscapes.
Yeah.
There you go.
And everybody's got an opinion, and that's fine because, hey, music is to be judged by people's experiences and sometimes, you know, just their lack of musical knowledge. But that's fine. Just going to put it out to the floor. I'm going to talk to you, 𝐀𝐁𝐿, because you know what I saw? You posted, hey, if you are into this, here are some other things that you might be into. So, you know, and I know, you know, you're a musician, you know, a DJ, a vocalist, a producer. So what did you think of the project?
And an educator.
You know, I like it, but I also listen to a lot of stuff like that.
Okay.
So it's not the best thing I've heard in that genre, but I like it. I mean, I don't really know why people are making a whole lot out of it. I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with this is not what I want him to do.
Yeah.
For sure.
And so so I think like everybody, big artists, they all got an album. So like Stevie Wonder got Journey into the Secret Life of Plants. People act like they don't like that, even though it's got Send One Your Love on it. So I don't really know the issue in Power Flower, but Marvin Gaye's got Hear My Dear. People don't like that.
People don't like that.
Yeah, it's not what they wanted him to do. I'm trying to think of some other people that got that one album that's like, this is not what I asked for.
Andre has The Love Below.
Yeah.
You know, if you think about
so
it.
I'm old enough to remember people didn't like it.
Exactly.
See, this is a very interesting conversation because people act, oh, we loved it. I was around. I bought that, and I remember people telling me it was trash.
Listen, I remember Rusty specifically telling me when I went to Rockin' Billy that the heads are not going to like this when I bought that album from there.
And he was right.
Yeah.
I'm glad. Even I would say even Stank On Ya. I know some people that didn't like that.
I thought it was straight. I didn't like
know
it.
a lot of people didn't like AT-Aliens.
Yeah, they've always been kind of polarizing.
Yeah,
that's true.
Even Speaker Box, I know people didn't like that. Nah, I don't mind that. There's some stuff on there I don't want to listen to, but I mean, it's got a weird Jay-Z sample, like a Jay-Z feature with Killer Mike. I'm like,
Well,
what?
it was like flip flop rock.
Yeah. Young Hov in the place to be. Big boy in the place to be.
Could have kept that one.
You didn't like that?
Honestly, I haven't listened to that song since it probably came out.
Oh man, when I listen to that album, I listen to both parts of it, I guess. But anyway, like I don't have a problem with it at all. I think that as an artist, you should put the music out that you feel comfortable with, and if he felt comfortable with doing that, that's what he should put out.
The end.
Now I've heard that this ain't it though. I've heard there's a rap album floating around.
Well,
I mean, that's what Killer
what
Mike
I've
said.
heard.
He heard 8 minutes of raps from Andre. Why is the button not working?
no, I thought that was
Charlemagne.
Charlemagne said that.
No, Killer Mike said, remember he came
No, that's right.
he came out early.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, I wasn't supposed to say anything. And then so I actually brought it up to, I think it was Maja last week. I was like, is this the album that Killer Mike was talking about? Maybe he just like pulled like, oh, okay, you're going to get a flute album now, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that even makes me think about, oh man, not everybody loved Miles when he went electric. Not everybody loved Herbie Hancock when he did that.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got an album that like,
Hell, that
what?
whole Miles hip hop era was trash.
Oh, the stuff he was doing with Easy Mo B.
Yeah, that was not good.
Yeah, I didn't really like it. He got
good.
criticized for the stuff he did with Marcus Miller too, though. Where like was Human Nature on that record, and he did the cover Time After Time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, here's what will probably happen. 10 years will go by, and a bunch of people will say how great it is. The same people that didn't like it.
I mean, like, away from Andre 3000, I don't know how it's aged in other people's eyes, but like, I know I loved Electric Circus. And I just know.
Man.
I liked it when it came out.
Yeah, I liked it when it came out.
It was hard for me to get with when it came out.
And plus, I saw the Electric Circus tour.
Okay, that probably would do something
And
different.
that, when you see the tour, it was something about that.
Is that the joint with Come Close on there?
Yes.
Yeah, that's on
Oh,
there.
now see, I like that record.
Come Close,
But that
I
was-
got to write
That record was
But-
probably the most normal record
Come
on
Close
there.
was
if
the
you
most
wanna say
normal.
that, you know
To be honest, I always say that Come Close didn't fit the album in comparison to
No, it
everything
didn't.
else.
Is that the same
especially
album that's
leading
got
up
the-
to an album that you're used to hearing comment a certain way, and you hear it like that. But yeah,
I mean, when
Didn't
you
that have a
come
joint with Macy Gray? Wasn't that on there?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, yeah, he had. Well, I mean, because
Electric wire.
I got to go back and listen to it, man. It's been a while.
You do.
To be honest, I've always held this stance, but I did go back and listen to it maybe about 5 years ago, and I would say that it didn't hold up as well as I thought it had. Still had the records that I thought were really, really strong were still really strong, but it had a few on there. I was like, maybe not. Maybe not. Not like Water for Chocolate or
I mean,
Biggie.
it was hard because a lot of us wanted like Water for Chocolate too.
Yep. That's like people want Andre to rap.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because even Love Below, people were. Yeah, you remember people weren't really in love with how much he was not rapping on that album.
Out of those two, I preferred the Love Below.
Oh yeah.
From the very beginning.
Obviously. Same.
So, me personally, Andre playing a flute on an album is not really far fetched in my personal opinion.
Nah.
This is total Andre behavior. I mean, he had on a Braves jersey on the first album.
Yep.
A turban on the second.
Yep.
There was a painting of him in like a 70s shirt, chest out.
And he had the shoulder pads on.
Then he had shoulder pads and
big furry boots.
Yeah, mascot boots on.
Yep.
So this is not out of the ordinary
Then he had a
for him
perm
to go left field.
He had a little perm.
You know what I'm
So
saying?
fresh, so clean.
With a knit scarf and a knit hat and no shirt and tattoos. So I mean, this is kind of par for the course for Andre.
Well, even like to tag on that with Love Below. I mean, there's a cover of Favorite Things on there.
Come on, man.
It's most random.
Yeah,
super random.
I liked it too.
And I mean, I think he just programmed the drums. I don't know if he did anything else on that
sped it up
record.
super fast.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many songs on there that should have let people know
that he was alluding to playing the flute.
Like Pink and Blue at the end got that whole just orchestral part at the end of like, I don't know. I guess it would tell me how much of a fan you are, how much of a problem you have with it. I don't know.
Yeah, because I'm like, Andre's like top 5 MC to me.
Yeah.
So I'm not listening to this album in the same vein that I'm listening to him spit anything.
Right.
This is just an album that an artist put out. He decided he wanted to play the flute. Like you said, to you it sounds like soundscapes. To me, it's almost like binaural beats, something that you kind of just play in the background, going about your day. You might
That's kind of where
come up with some, you know what I'm saying?
Soundtrack music, like
The same for the gym.
Nah, it could be though.
I played it in the car for like however long it is. I don't know. It was nice just driving down the freeway, and that was what I was listening to. It was cool. After a while, it was just on. Like I just wasn't really paying that close attention to it. And I think
that was kind of the intent of it, you know. And I think what we keep alluding to is that Andre is an artist.
Yeah.
You know, and he's more than just like an MC. And obviously, it also I think speaks to the fact that we all, or many of us, and even a lot more people that are willing to admit it, are really big fans of him as a rapper.
Yeah.
Even though there are a lot of people that like to say he's weird and, you know, he's not doing this or he's whatever. I don't really care about that, right? But at the same time, I think it kind of further drives the point home that he is an amazing MC that people really do want to hear from.
Yeah.
But I made a video on this. I didn't know I figured we were probably going to talk about it, but I don't, he's an artist, man. He can do whatever he wants to do.
Yep.
That's really the brass tacks of it. That's what it comes down to for me. Like, I thought it was okay. I didn't think the album was super spectacular.
Well, this is coming from somebody that listens to things of that nature.
For sure.
Know?
Yeah, I thought it was like it was a 5 or 6 out of 10. I didn't think it was horrible. You know, maybe on the higher end, more of a 6. I really like the soundscaping. I like the soundtracking. I feel like he was really kind of sculpting an entire type of like experience, listening to where like you could listen to it and you can almost put yourself into it. So I appreciated that aspect of it. His flute playing, I honestly didn't really like his flute playing all that much.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I think he was just doing something.
I'm glad somebody said that.
I
It's
think he
got
was
some
just on there
Ornette
doing
Coleman kind of Albert Ayler.
It does have some Ornette Coleman.
Like you can kind of like you can do whatever you want. Kind of vibe.
So it was.
There's a market for that, I guess.
He was pretty much like, not to say scatting, but just kind of in the moment,
just improv.
doing whatever he wanted to do.
There's a lot of improv on there.
Well, on the GQ interview, he said all of it is.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, he said it's worth watching. It's a video.
I've seen
it's like a
clips
half
of it,
hour.
but
It's so worth watching.
Yeah.
He gets into a lot more than just that. But yeah, he was just like, we would just go in and just do stuff, and
then he would take whatever. So I watched a couple.
And you can tell.
You can tell, and I think that from my perspective, is I felt like the project would have been a little better if it was maybe had a little bit more intention behind it. But I also feel at the same time that this is probably what he was going for. So it's like
probably
one of those,
was the intention.
It's one of those things. So like, but it took me back to when I was in high school and I was in jazz bands and I had improvs and I was soloing. If you've never like played an instrument and then you've seen on the sheet where it just says improv for like 34 bars, right? And then you just have to make something up. It reminded me of that time when I had it, but what I didn't realize at the time, and I understand that that you don't have to follow the rules, but at the same time, one thing that I remember not knowing back then is that even though I'm improving, you still have to be within the key of what everything is happening, going on with the improving. And when I'm listening to him play the flute, sometimes he's hitting that sharp, and I'm just kind of like, I understand that there's a sect of people that will be like, oh, I like the fact that he did this sharp here. But at the same time, I'm like, no, like you're out of key there. Like,
and it doesn't even feel like a substitution.
It doesn't feel like it. So. It doesn't feel like he, from an artistic standpoint, it doesn't feel like he even knew.
Which there's a market for that.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Atonal kind of.
I'm gonna go ahead and just
not
say
really my thing, but that atonal or Ornette Coleman kind of free jazz vibe.
He hasn't had any professional training on the flute.
Nah,
clearly not.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not hating. That's
I'm
not hating.
No, he's doing it's noodling the whole time.
He's doing his thing, and I'm not mad at him.
Parts of it I really liked.
All of us had recorders, and we were walking around the house doing the exact same thing.
Well, that was like the very first track where he was just like going do 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 do. I'm like, that's all.
There's some spots where he repeats some themes though. And I'm like, oh, that's actually kind of dope.
Yeah, I saw the themes.
But what I can't tell is he repeating that or did they loop that?
I think they looped it.
That could be the possibility.
I think it was programmed.
Yeah, there's some parts I can't tell. So.
I feel like because I heard those as well, and I was like, I feel like they just took those elements and just kind of copy and pasted them over. But
plus, I guess the guy that helped produce him, he like makes stuff that's just out there like that anyway. So all of it. I don't know. It all makes sense.
He's affiliated with Brain Feeder and Flying Lotus, and I think it's Leftover Records, or I think that's what it's called.
That's definitely around us. Yeah.
So I mean,
I guess ultimately, like I said, I mean, everybody big got that album or period where they're like, you look back and like, I don't really know what was going on. I mean, I know some people like Electric Miles, but like,
I wasn't a fan of it.
In a Silent Way and the Jack Johnson album and Big Fun, a lot of that stuff is Live Evil. That stuff is odd.
Yeah.
In spots, and it's just real odd.
Yeah. I mean, they're think pieces. They're really kind of.
There's parts where it's like the tension of it is just too much for me. But some people love it. You know, same like with Ornette Coleman. I keep mentioning it, but some people like Ornette Coleman. I don't. I guess I hope that it would make people go listen to stuff like 𝐀𝐄𝐄𝐄. Man, there's just a lot of people in that weird kind of ambient. Hopefully people would get into that.
It kind of goes to speak to what people are comfortable listening to as well. Because a lot of people were going into this trying to hear it as a hip hop album, and that's not what you're supposed to be doing.
Nah.
This has nothing to do. Well, I can't say it has nothing to do with, because I mean there's elements of hip hop involved in it as a lot of other things, but this is not a hip hop album. And if you're not hip or had never had the ear to hear that type of thing or those type of sounds together,
a certain palate,
then you're not going to enjoy it. Like you said, palate. So like that's kind of like food. Yeah. If you have this certain delicacy that everybody messes with and your taste buds haven't achieved that level, then you're not going to enjoy it.
Or maybe they're just not even. And maybe
that's
they're just not capable of it. And that, like you said, there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that, and that's okay.
But I wish more people had that attitude instead of saying it's trash.
Yeah.
Like it's cool. I mean, you don't like it. It's cool. You know, whatever.
Look,
like you mentioned Rod Wave. I don't get it. I don't listen to Rod Wave, but I ain't gonna tell you it's whack.
Yeah. Look, I admire.
Unless I listen to it, and then it is whack.
Hey, I mean, you know, it could be that too.
It could be.
This is what I really admire about Andre 3000 at this point in his career, is that he has made a concerted effort to not be a product, but to be an artist.
Yep.
Because he has that luxury. I feel the same way about Nas. Nas is not worried, you know, with all the 6 records that he put out basically in the last 2.5, 3 years. Mm-hmm. There was nothing where he's like, okay, this is going to be my single for the radio. This is going to hit the strip clubs. I'm doing this for down south. He's like, I'm putting records out.
You can say the same thing about Big Boy too, actually.
Same.
Oh, definitely.
He's been quietly putting out all kind of records.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so
I'm just doing it.
Now, they have the luxury to do this because they've already sold millions of records.
Yeah,
for sure.
You know, they've already pulled in millions of dollars in tour money. I understand why it's, you know, asking a younger artist to be able to do the same thing is such a risk.
Yep.
But at the same time, I think that's what a certain level of success buys you. You can go ahead and say, okay, yes, I am no longer a product of the machine. I'm going to go ahead and just create art at my pace and do the things that I want to hear, or the things that I want that truly are a part of my soul, if you will.
Yep.
And just because there's no single there, I'm not going to let that stop me. And there, we're in a situation where in digital distribution where it's not like it's like, well, we don't have a single that's working. There's something now because they're not rapping to eat. I say this about a lot of artists that we talk about here.
Yeah.
They're not rapping to eat
or playing the flute to eat.
It goes back to kind of what we were talking about last week with the conversation with Little Yachty saying that hip hop is in a terrible place, and him saying that everybody's safe right now. Like popular music is safe. And that kind of goes to the same thing, like doing things specifically because you have to reach a specific outcome as opposed to doing something because you're like, I want to try and see what this is going to do. Andre could have very easily in this particular project put out raps and done well, right? In that aspect, and had a whole bunch of people praise him. In the same way that Drake put out, I don't want to go too sidestep here, but in the same way Drake put out his album and it commercially did super well. But he could have also just put out those 6 rap records that he just put out that people wanted anyways. And kind of achieved.
Man, I'm out of touch. I don't even know what y'all talking about.
He put out a 6-pack
of songs recently.
He added like a maxi single or something.
He like added like Scary Hour. He called it Scary Hour. So he pretty much added 6 more tracks to the For All the Dogs.
Yeah.
That fits the title of For All the Dogs.
Like he's rapping.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's not
these songs are for the dogs.
Man, he should just rap, but that's a whole different It's just whatever.
So I guess that kind of goes into what I'm saying. The long way around to get to it is Drake could very easily just put out all rap records and do super fine.
Yeah.
But he is playing the safe model and the safe role. He knows what's going to work.
He's been doing
it. He does that every single time. He's like, I'm going to do this because I know that if I do this, I can sell all these records here. If I do the raps, well, only this certain kind of core of type people are going to mess with it. And I don't even know if that's even really the case.
I don't either because honestly, I think everybody feels the same way about these 6 tracks. It's almost like we're surprised that he did it. And I know we're talking about Dre here, but we're talking about an elite MC. If Dre was rapping, he's an elite MC.
For sure.
So if somebody's following in Dre's footsteps, those 6 songs that Drake dropped are along those lines. It's almost like they put a battery in his back when they was like, man, you really ain't rapping. And then J. Cole really thrashed you on the track. So he was like, I got to give you 6 more after he said he quit.
Yeah, because he said, I'm going to take a hiatus, and then was like,
yeah, he even addressed that on here, like, I ain't done. I ain't done. I got to keep going pretty much. I'm not mad at that at all. But, hey, if Dre is playing with us like Snoop did, saying he quit smoking, I'm with all the smoke. I
was like, this feels like a rollout.
Yes.
Yeah. The other part about all of that is, honestly, if you want to hear Andre rap,
he's got lots of material.
Listen to it. Like even a verse that maybe people didn't hear it or don't talk about it. The verse he has on the Killer Mike record, I liked it.
Yeah, we talked about that extensively.
He got a joint with. There's a record that he had with Travis Scott back on like the record with Goosebumps on it. I like that verse. He got, what else was he on?
That Kanye record he did.
Who?
He did a record.
On Kanye.
Yeah.
Who?
Exactly.
On the Donda.
Oh, I didn't listen to
Sorry.
Donda.
You didn't hear the Dre track?
Nah, I made it like 2 or 3 songs. I'm like, yo,
the Donda got like that song wound up coming out later.
It felt
was
like
added on.
Man, it felt like the beginning part of a thriller like action movie that was not that great. Kind of maybe
I didn't like any of it. So,
you need to listen to that track.
I would go do that though. I know West Side Gun is on there too.
I like it because Andre's on it, but that's it.
Yeah, I mean,
that song.
Then he's on the Tribe Called Quest, that last album that came. I mean, Andre got just go listen to Outkast records if you want to hear him rap.
Yeah,
he don't owe us nothing.
Exactly,
he really don't.
Exactly.
Hell, honestly, the song that he gave me on that Kanye, he could have been done rapping.
I'm sorry,
for
that's
me.
one of my favorite. I mean, I don't know.
It spoke to me. It spoke to me.
I trust y'all. I got.
It was a real good record. Yeah, I remixed it. I remember that.
And they came. It was like no.
They hit you for it.
Man, I remixed that and dropped it the next day. I had like 25,000 views in like 2 hours.
They said no.
And then,
but this is the crazy
thing. Ain't that a good feeling though?
Yeah, no. Because every time like I have something that's ready to just go, it's just kind of like, oh no, you don't.
Just put it on SoundClick or something. I bet it'll probably
The
pop.
numbers ain't gonna do the same.
Blinker or something like that.
Yeah, I don't even know if SoundClick's even around anymore. I
You
still
said
have an account.
SoundClick. I
We
was
got
like,
dropped from the label. What? SoundClick.
no, but the thing is, he put it out when the song wasn't officially out.
Oh, you was ahead of the game.
Yeah,
Because
No,
I think
no, it
Kanye
wasn't.
had to double back and end up adding it to the release.
Kanye's verse is completely different on
Oh,
because that's when he's
it's because
rapping.
he got washed, probably.
Well, because that's because in the first one he's rapping about gang banging and all this other
I
stuff.
don't think he even wrote that verse.
I doubt he did.
Yeah.
I don't care about
Man, who
Kanye.
would be his ghostwriter if he got one?
now?
Sci-Hi.
Not anymore. Do you think?
Sci-Hi,
Sci-Hi
Pusha
was
T.
for a while.
Pusha
Pusha
T
T.
at one point.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a
But
great question. If it had to be somebody right now, it might be Rod Wave.
Stop.
Yeah.
You know what I do? I brought this up. I
Cheers
said,
to the callback.
with exactly.
that's how you pod.
One of the things that we talked about on many pods ago is like, look, man, I don't want to have to. People say, man, if you were just on smoking a little weed or you was on some pills, man, this album would be incredible.
I don't want to have to do that.
and I don't want to have to do all
Hey,
that.
that Dre soundtrack is
But I'm telling you,
mushroom music.
I'm telling you, if I was somewhere where marijuana is legal, and I was enjoying some smoke during a rainstorm, this would probably be the best album I've ever.
The Andre album?
Yeah.
Yeah, that Andre album is definitely a hallucinogenic album. If that's your drug of choice, and you decide that you want to trip off some mushrooms, hey,
In a place like Portland where it's legal.
or Colorado,
Yeah,
You know what
exactly.
I'm saying?
Or if you're
Take that
just trying to
trip.
chill.
Yeah.
I fell asleep to the album the first time I heard it, which some people would interpret that as a bad thing. But
No.
I think
I
that's
got
awesome.
that relaxed. Then I went to sleep and I woke up. It was on the last record.
Yeah, not everything's
I was
supposed to make
chilling.
you like turn up.
Nah,
You know what I mean?
nah. People got it. I don't know. That's a whole.
Don't
Like I
look
said,
out.
I listen to a lot of stuff like that anyway because I get tired of hearing other people's voices. And so
Yeah.
just to be 100% real,
I'm
I
the same.
get tired
I
of
heard that.
humans.
And it's also at the
Is it 432?
megahertz. Yeah, it's at that megahertz where
It feels
it's
different, yeah.
relaxing and it feels good and it makes you vibrate, for lack of better
It's a different
word.
vibration.
It resonate
Yeah.
with all that water in your body.
A lot of people are not ready. They're on a
They're
lower
not ready
vibration.
for that. They're
They
not
ain't
ready,
ready for
my
that.
brother.
It's hitting your pineal gland in a
It's
different
Hey
way.
man, decalcifying that mug.
Stay woke. You got to stay woke, my
Straight
brother.
up. Yeah.
That's
Wake
right.
up.
Don't be out here playing these reindeer games.
Yeah,
Word
don't do
life.
that.
Straight up.